From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio. Bedlam on Saturday night in Stillwater. A guy that will undoubtedly be watching, but unfortunately not able to play for the Sooners anymore. Grant Calcaterra announcing just about a week ago that he was retiring from football after suffering repeated concussions. And Ryan Aber joins us on the phone right now. Ryan, you and several other media members had a chance to talk to Calcaterra earlier this week, his first availability to media since he made his announcement on social media. What was your biggest takeaway from that time you got to spend with Grant talking about his decision?
I think the biggest thing was just how content he was with the decision, that it was the right one. He said, well, maybe research and science comes to the point where you can heal concussions 5 years from now, and I sort of shake my head, but he said even then it wouldn't be a regret. He was very informed with his decision and said he had no fear going into his post-football career.
He told you guys that he had a concussion during the spring, kept him out then, and it sounded like he thought, you know what, this is it. I won't have any more from here on out. Lo and behold, he has one this year. What was that time like for him, and how did he then, from that concussion this fall, come to this decision to walk away from football?
Well, he said it was sort of in his mind a little bit after the one in the spring, although he was brushing off and saying this isn't going to happen to me again, that if another one came, and especially if another one came in the next few months, that he might need to think about stepping away. He said he's very aware of concussion research and all the news about CTE and post-concussion syndrome, things like that. So he was very informed in making the decision.
Obviously, people may or may not know, I guess, Scott Anderson, who's on the staff at OU, is one of the leading experts, not just around here, but really in the nation, Scott, as it relates to concussions and head trauma. And you mentioned that Calcaterra, in your story, you mentioned that Calcaterra talked with him as well as others. That had to be a good thing for Calcaterra to have such an impactful voice that he could walk into Scott Anderson's office and just sit down and talk about this, I imagine.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he said he took full advantage of the availability of Scott Anderson and the team doctor, Brock Schnabel, and those guys, especially Scott Anderson, hooked him up with some of the top specialists around. So Scott Anderson is certainly very connected in the community that studies and treats and diagnoses concussions. And I think there's no doubt that I'm not going to say it helped Calcaterra make his decision or push him one way or another, but it certainly played a big factor.
Lastly, Ryan, you said that Calcaterra seemed very content with the decision that he had made to be done with football. We saw him on Saturday, senior night, be recognized before the TCU game. Then he leads the team out on the field before the game. Do you anticipate that he sticks around the team to some degree, or is he going to kind of start to pivot towards the next things in his life?
Yeah, he's going to stick around the team for the rest of the season. He said that he wasn't one to ghost a team after he got hurt. So he's going to be around. He said he's still working out with Benny Wiley and the rest of the Oklahoma trainers. And so he's still very, very invested in this. Going to stay here till May, expected to graduate then, and then head back to California to be a firefighter.
All right, again, Grant Calcaterra announcing he is stepping away from football after repeated concussions. You can read Ryan's story in the Tuesday Oklahoman or online. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at oklahoman.com and every day in the Oklahoman.